Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody tuning in. Welcome to another weekly outlook video where I'll be going over a couple of pairs that I'm looking at going into this new week. All right, so starting off with CAD CHF, you can see that we are in a steady downtrend where we are making lower lows and lower highs, as I've denoted with this arrow. All right, so if I zoom in and take a closer inspection at price, you can see that we've broken a pretty significant level of support and we've now come back to retest that zone. It looks like price is coming back to retest that broken region of support turned resistance. All right, so if we can push back into that support turned resistance zone, I may look for potential short opportunity, right? Going with the flow of the dominant downtrend. All right, and so one thing that also stands out to me is this nice head and shoulders pattern that we are forming, right? Where we have this left shoulder, the head, and now it looks like we are starting to create that right shoulder. All right, so let's see if we can get price to come back and retest that broken support going into this new week. But yes, I do have a short bias on CAD CHF. All right, so coming over to EuroCAD, you can see that we have struggled to continue making lower lows, and now it looks like we have a shift in momentum right back to the upside, right? So the most immediate level of resistance that stands out to me is this one that I've denoted here with this yellow box. So if we can get some sort of break above this level of resistance coupled with a retest plus rejection of this zone, I may look to enter for a potential long opportunity, right? So I do have a long bias on EuroCAD going into this new week. All right, so coming over to Euro CZK, I think this was a pair that I covered last week, and this pair is starting to develop at least the setup that I was anticipating, where we also had a break of structure, right? So we were creating lower lows and lower highs, and we are no longer doing that, and it seems like price is pushing back to the upside, right? Buyers are stepping in and pushing price back up to the upside, right? So we did successfully break this level of resistance last week, and now all I'm looking for is a retest of this zone for a potential long opportunity on Euro CZK. All right, so I do have a long bias going into this new week on Euro CZK. Actually, one of my favorite exotic pairs to trade. All right, so coming over to GBP odd, you can see a nice steady downtrend where we have been making lower lows and lower highs, right, as I'm denoting with this arrow. And it looks like price is now pushing back into a pretty significant level of support turned resistance, right? So if we can continue to push into this level, coupled with some rejections and personal confirmations that I look for before I enter, I may look for a potential short opportunity on GBP odd going into this new week. All right, and so now coming over to NZD CAD, in the most recent of times, we have been in a nice steady uptrend. We continue to break resistance levels and make that steady move back to the upside, right? So if I zoom in on price, probably come over to the 1 hour, you can see a nice broken resistance zone that I'm targeting as a potential retest, right? So if we can come back into this region and retest that zone, and then also get those rejections that I look for before entering, then I may look for a potential buy opportunity on this pair, right? So EuroCAD, I have a buy bias, NZD CAD, I have a buy bias, and then CAD CHF, I have a short bias. So I am looking at quite a bit of CAD pairs going into this new week. All right, so coming over to USD Huff, let me actually zoom out to the daily time frame. All right, so you can see we've just been continuing to trickle to the upside. We had a pretty significant retracement, but now it looks like price has recovered from that, and it looks like we do want to continue making higher highs in this market, as this has been a pretty long-standing uptrend. All right, so now if I zoom in on price, you can see that it looks like we're failing to create lower lows in the market, right? Instead of making that lower low here, it looks like we're now pushing even further to the upside, which falls in line with the overall dominant uptrend. All right, so if I come down to the 4-hour time frame, you can basically see a nice resistance level that price has been respecting. And in order for me to enter for a buy position, I would like to see a break above this zone. And if we can come back to retest this zone, I may look for a potential buy opportunity. All right, so I do have a long bias on USD HUF, just going with the overall flow of price, right? If you guys have been watching my weekly outlooks, you know that I'm a trend trader. I like to go with the current because that has proven to me to be the most, profitable technique for trading. All right. And now coming over to USD CZK, actually very similar to Euro CZK in that we have started creating an uptrend, right? A steady move to the upside. And I am looking for a potential buy opportunity as we have come back to retest a pretty significant level of 4-hour resistance turn support. Right. So those are the pairs that I am looking at going into this new week. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you appreciate this type of content, definitely leave a like down below, as well as comment any pair that you want to see covered in next week's video, as well as don't forget to subscribe for future content like this. All right. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll check back with you guys very soon. All right. Peace.